Welcome back to more Guild Wars 2. Continuing south from Ashford Forum, we're gonna go north. Mainly because it's the only way we have to go, and we don't have any waypoints to the far north, so we were gonna have to do this quest anyway. But first, there's a scout we need to listen to clue us in on what's going on in the area.
The engineers of Iron Dock Shipyard are at the forefront of underwater technology, but they're constantly harassed by wildlife, not to mention the separatists who've built a nearby camp. Their vital work must continue unimpeded.
Yep, those separatists are always up to something. But unfortunately, we don't have time to really worry about them. First, we have to kill ghosts. Because literally right here is where the Abbey once stood. Ashford Abbey. And if you've played the original Guild Wars, you know what lies underneath the monastery.
My adrenaline is full.
That used to be an extensive catacombs right here. Apparently not anymore. For whatever reason, the catacombs have collapsed in. Kill the ghosts, light some torches, easy enough. Revive some people, an easy enough quest.
I can barely stand.
With enough objectives to make it not entirely boring. Also, avoid the worms. You don't need to kill them. So don't. But always kill the innocent wildlife. The literally innocent wildlife. Because you can.
I've never been here.
Now this devourer over here, he can kill anyone in this encampment. I'm telling you now, that devourer there, he's a hero amongst his own kind. Because he sits there, kills the guard, always. The guard has no chance of survival. Like these Grawl, I might actually need to run into. Yep, we're gonna have to run into some Grawl. They don't stand a chance either. Like I said, that waypoint up north, last video, it came back to bite us in the butt. It really did. Really should have gotten it when we were first up here. But no. My stupidity. Now you see that wall in front of us. This wall used to be the wall surrounding Ascalon City. Pardon me. I almost called it Ashford City. No, it was Ascalon. My bad. Ascalon City, as you can see, is in complete and utter ruin. There's a portal that leads somewhere north. In the Charr and Norn starting areas, you have to be careful if you're going to exit the map. You can go to places that are severely the wrong level for you. One of the bordering areas is a level 70 area. Don't do it. Instead, go down here and get this point of interest next to some Grawl. Now, Grawl are an interesting subspecies in the Guild Wars universe in that they will worship anything. Doesn't matter what it is, they're just very much beings that want something to worship. They're weird. Easy to kill, though. Very easy to kill. Always get this point of interest. Maybe even kill the veteran. I did. Wasn't particularly hard, but it doesn't count towards this quest which we need to complete. It involves harpies. This is, I think, the first time we've seen harpies in No, we've seen harpies before, never mind. I just derped a little with my brain. Easy enough quest to complete. There's harpies' nests. Bring down the harpies' nests. Bring down the harpies. Occasionally you'll find supplies on them. Priory supplies, in particular. Occasionally they'll steal them. Occasionally a dynamic event will go on. I didn't catch it here. But trust me, there's lots of ways you can complete this. Generally it's by killing harpies. The poor things. Easy enough. Straightforward enough. That nest respawned. Easy quest. Now, this map is interesting. Because you see that door. You saw that door on my map. And you're probably wondering if I was going to acknowledge its existence. This is actually the lowest level dungeon in the game. Here in Ascalon, in the plains of Ashford, right next to Ascalon. This is the Ascalonian catacombs. The Ascalon catacombs, excuse me. This map is quite often populated, as you can see in the chat if you were paying attention to that, which I don't know why you would, by people who are looking for groups. Looking for people who are just not going with their guild to run the dungeon. As you can see, a lot of people just stand around and wait.
We've got harpies inbound. Blasted birds will steal anything that isn't tied down.
I think I can leave that to them. They're all probably closer to level 80 than me. We have a waypoint and a point of interest to get down here. Always avoid the Devourers. They're an annoyance more than anything else. Fortunately, one of the more interesting things is they were in Guild Wars 1, and they were just as annoying there as they are here. Unfortunately, a little event has popped up in the area we need to get our point of interest in. Looks like we're catching the tail end of it.
It'll take more than
Literally the tail end of it.
anything I've built.
You know, they don't understand your taunts. They're living in a past hundreds of years old.
Taunting isn't just for the target. I need my soldiers to feel my confidence.
Now, what
we're not
that
leaving.
Charr just
I think they'd
said
be more inspired if you helped
is
shore up our
more
defenses.
interesting than you think. Because think about it. The ghost doesn't know that Ascalon City has fallen. As far as it's concerned, it's living during the invasion. It literally doesn't know any better. Which brings up a very interesting philosophical point. Are we doing the right thing by destroying them? Or trying to destroy them? Because here's the thing with the ghosts. They come back. Literally. So what should we do with them? Well, this is Guild Wars 2, and we're not so entirely worried about that. We repair broken flags, we kill ghosts. Simple, straightforward, and pack animals. Now you're going to see the sky grow blue. These are the ruins of the outside of Ascalon City. Ah, Ascalon. You saw better days at one point in time. In particular, this is going to bring... This made me conflicted the first time I ran it. And even still today, I feel a twinge of... I can't say sadness, but I've seen Ascalon and its greatness. And to see it like this, if you hadn't seen Ascalon in Guild Wars 1, this entire bit is going to be completely lost on you. Especially when we come to the gate up there, because that's the first time you stepped out of Ascalon City at level 1 in Guild Wars 1. This wall was once standing. It literally was. That's the level 70 area, by the way. You don't go in there. Not unless you're really prepared. And, we're not level 70. That'd be silly. But regardless of how I felt during this bit, it always feels good to just kill some ghosts, even though they come right back, because they're ghosts. Also a point of interest. Ignore that tower, we'll be back when we do the skill challenges. Bring up the flags, kill the ghosts, complete the quest. Easy enough. Now, going through the broken down wall, we have another interesting area. It's called Human's Lament, and there are ogres we are going to have to kill. This is also one of the more interesting things, is that there's a tug and pull between the Charr and the ogres in this area. A lot of times the ogres will have it, sometimes the Charr will have most of the area. It's very weird, because always there's the pack houses, the supplies, the things that the ogres left behind. And yet, even when the ogres aren't in control, the Charr don't make use of them, they just keep them there. But kill the things, kill the ogres and their pets, all aid you in completing the quest. Now, I got an interesting event here that I didn't know it was going on. We have to save this particular place, which we had to go in anyway because it's got a point of interest in it. But there's just a lot of ogres. Now, they say this is a group event, for the specific reason that there's just a lot of respawning ogres. But I pretty much could do this solo, because there's just that... It's just easy enough. Also, always kill the ogres. They help you complete the quest. And we had, actually, this is a 2-part quest, which then reset itself upon another unfortunate computer problem. Those happen more than you think. But with that done, I almost forgot something here. And then the ogre decided to sign his death warrant. Stupid ogre should have known not to stop me. Off to the left here, there is a waypoint we need to get. That ogre also tried to sign his death warrant, but I ignored him. He didn't need to die today. No, sir. Like I said, this area, often the Charr have control of it, oftentimes the ogres do. So depending on how you're going through, you'll either have more or less ogres. And if you don't have ogres, just destroy the inanimate objects. They count the same. But if you really want a challenge, wait till they're contested. The ogres are hilariously fun. And easy, actually. I didn't have a problem with the necromancer really doing that. I might have had a minor problem with it as the engineer, but the engineer just has a variety of ways of dealing with it. Continuing to head south, we have more waypoints, and I believe we just have a couple more quests to do. 3, actually. And this is one of the more interesting ones, because we have this Asura down here, who's doing some research into the scale. We need to tranquilize some scale for him. Now, this is, admittingly, only part of the dynamic event, but what else you can do is you can grab the eggs, kill some scale and get their oil glands, I think it is, and generally just kill scale in order to complete it. this adds quite a bit of variety to it,
I
because
need a volunteer to test the scale charmer.
tranquilizing the scale is harder than it sounds, because you have to get them down to about 25% health while they're tagged, which is your first shot. Since its scale regenerate health, you don't want to kill them. It's actually harder than it looks. Like I said, eggs. You turn those into the quest giver and you're good. As I'm showing off here. It actually gives you more completion than you think. That was about 5 eggs. So you could literally non-violent your way through it. And there's not only the quest completed, but the dynamic event at the same time.
For one day. Back to the camp, so we can exaggerate about just how many we got.
We're done with that quest. Now, if you remember, we were told about the Separatists and, I can't remember what they called this camp. But first, there's a little bit I forgot. Over here in the Ascalonian Basin, you see that giant chunk of map missing. Guess who forgot to pick up the swamp on his map? Yep, so we're gonna be heading there. Other than it being a swamp and being full of scale and rakes and things that want to kill you, it's actually a very boring place. Literally, not much to do. There we go. Lament. Now moving on to the actual quest. It's an interesting one. You have to talk to the guy in order to get his experimental weapon.
What do you want?
Now, that dynamic event is currently bugged as of the time of this at the time of the initial recording. It may have been fixed, but as you can see, his experimental weapon is pretty awesome. Completely destroys the dummies, and if you can use it on the drakes too, if you really wanted to. But there are other things we can do. This machine over here and the other machines are malfunctioning. Somehow we can fix them and kill the tar elementals, which I think is the first time we see a tar elemental if you're starting as a Charr. But just fix the machines, easy enough. And now we have to deal with those stupid separatists. And this is one of the more interesting ones, because at other times you can see things like catapults and things like that. They built a trebuchet. You can see it right there. That's a trebuchet. And it will launch at us continually while we're here. Now, to help complete this quest, destroy all the traps, as well as the people who set the traps. They will also occasionally have Iron Legion prisoners. In an area we'll see up ahead, you free them. That also aids to the completion. Always kill the guys who set the traps, because otherwise the traps will be respawning. And that trebuchet is actually fairly annoying. But, see, they call it a catapult, but it's actually a trebuchet. Now, they have a camp here. That is a point of interest. And apparently, setting fire to their plans also helps us. I'm not really sure, but it does apparently help us. You can kill the trebuchet. It's easy enough to kill. Especially if you have a ranged weapon, you just have to dodge from side to side. It's not hard at all. But we do have a waypoint we have to get. The prison, by the way, is off to our right, where all the onions are, as you can probably guess for some odd reason. Don't know why there's a bunch of onions there, but there are onions. I don't know why this waypoint is here, if I'm perfectly honest. But it is. And I was just looking on the map to make sure I was going in the appropriate direction. That is all the waypoints, but we are missing points of interest. So we head back. What am I missing? Well, I thought there might be one in an area we don't actually have to go to unless you're talking Charr storyline, and even then, I'm not entirely sure. But Windrock Maze. It's just literally next door to the Separatists. And I was thinking, well, maybe this? It'll reveal if I'm missing one.
Venture in a strange
No, we don't have to go to Windrock Maze. I told you that waypoint was going to come in handy. Now, what I missed is, other than models not loading in properly, is, well, an actually halfway interesting thing. Off to the left is the first area we have to go to, which is one of the points of interest I missed. And this is because I took the long way around, sadly. Always build your magic snowmen. Always. Be ridiculous not to. 3 Legion's Court. Never miss that. It's very, very easy to do. Now, I did mention that I'd missed one all the way to the north in the beginning of last video. I missed it. And it's one of the more interesting ones because, as you might guess, the Charr know of the script. How do they know of the script? We haven't seen any script. We've seen Devourers, we've seen Flame Legion, we've seen humans, we've seen ogres, we've seen ghosts, but we haven't seen any script. We've even seen Grawl, but we haven't seen script. Well, that's because the script are only all the way up here. When I say all the way up here, I mean I don't think you can go further north on a map like this. This is a script cave. And being script, occasionally they steal things, which means a dynamic event happens all the way up here. It's an easy dynamic event, but it's easy to miss. Now, we're still missing a point of interest. Can you guess where it is, folks? If you can, well, good for you. Because it's down here. Do you remember those 2 camps? You see that statue? That's what we missed. I'll see you guys next time. This is Stomping Llama, signing out.